Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Nashtuprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Canto 4, Chapter 7, text number 16 onwards. Neha Mataji, please turn off your speaker.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Maitreya Vacha Kshamapi Evam Samidvansam Brahmachana Mantritaha Karma Santana Yamasa Sopadhyayarthigadibhi. The great sage Maitreya said, thus being pardoned by Lord Shiva, King Daksha, with the permission of Lord Brahma, again began the performance of the yajna, along with the great learned sages, the priests and the others. Because the yajna had to be completed, that was somehow disrupted. Vaishnavam yajna santatya trikpalam dvijotama purodasham niravapan vira samsarga shuddhe. Thereafter, in order to resume the activities of sacrifice, the Brahmins first arranged to purify the sacrificial arena of the contamination caused by the touch of Virabhadra and other ghostly followers of Lord Shiva. Then they arranged to offer into the fire the oblations known as Purodasha. Lord Shiva's followers and devotees, headed by Virabhadra, are known as Viras, and they are ghostly demons. Not only did they pollute the entire sacrificial arena by their very presence, but they disturbed the whole situation by passing stool and urine. Therefore, the infection they had created was to be first purified by the method of offering Purodash oblations. A Vishnu yajna or an offering to Lord Vishnu cannot be performed uncleanly. To offer anything in an unclean state is called seva aparat. The worship of the Vishnu deity in the temple is also Vishnu yajna. In all Vishnu temples, therefore, the priest who takes care of the Archana Vidhi must be very clean. So this cleanliness is inside and outside both. Everything should be offered, everything should be always kept neat and clean, and the foodstuffs should be prepared in a neat and clean manner. All these regulative principles are described in the Nectar of Devotion. There are 32 kinds of offenses in discharging Archana service. It is required, therefore, that one be extremely careful not to be unclean. Generally, whenever any ritualistic ceremony is begun, the holy name of Lord Vishnu is first chanted in order to purify the situation. Whether one is in a pure or impure condition, internally or externally, if one chants or even remembers the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, one immediately becomes purified. So this mantra we chant every time we do any yajna or any worship. Om apavitram apavitram va sarva avasthan gato piva yasmare pundarikaksham sarvaya abhyantara shuchi. Means if one is pure or impure, this is Prabhupada saying, internally or externally. If one chants or even remembers the holy name of Supreme Personality of Godhead, one immediately becomes purified. So that is a real purification mantra. But that doesn't mean we don't follow the cleanliness procedure. Like taking bath. Taking bath is very, very important. To worship the deities, one has to be clean. So one has to have the bath done. If he goes to do evacuation, passing of stool, and he has to take bath. If he passes urine, still has to cleanse himself properly before doing any service for the deity. And the temple room should be, and the altar should be completely cleansed. The Lord likes cleanliness. Prabhupada used to say, cleanliness is next to godliness. Also, if by performing devotional service, or if we think we are performing devotional service, and we remain unclean, then we are not performing devotional service, because it is said. Okay, I'll tell you an incident with Prabhupada. So Prabhupada went to one city, and he met the temple president. Temple president came to give him a report, and Prabhupada was taking the report, and Prabhupada. So everybody is coming to morning program. Yes, Prabhupada. Everybody is chanting their rounds. Yes, Prabhupada. And after morning program, everybody sits in the temple hall and chant their rounds, 16 rounds. And how's the book distribution, how's the temple, how's the money, everything is good. But the temple president said, but Prabhupada, there's only one problem. What is that? That the devotees, somehow they don't keep the temple clean. Then Prabhupada said, they're not chanting the rounds properly. Temple president said, no, they all chant their rounds in the morning only. Prabhupada said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That's the first thing that will happen by Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtana. If we are chanting our rounds properly, if we are performing devotion service properly, first thing that is going to happen is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Mirror of the heart will get cleansed. Cleansed of all the dirty desires, cleansed of the lower modes of nature. So first thing that will happen is the person will come to the mode of goodness, a devotee. And one who is in the mode of goodness cannot see anything unclean. He'll keep everything clean. That's the quality of a Brahman. So this is how Prabhupada related it. So now we have to see our place. Is it clean or is it not so clean? I'm not saying become so fanatic about cleanliness, that don't do anything else except just cleaning. But it should be proper, tidy, clean. The altar should be clean. The deity should be taken care of nicely. And that is one of the. If we don't do it, then it is a seva aparadh. That is why in ISKCON temples we'll see the standards are so high about cleanliness, especially at the altar, in the deity worship. Because Prabhupada established it this way. Because ultimately everything is going to come by the mercy of Krishna. If he is pleased, if Srimati Radharani is pleased, everything will come. They will provide everything. And on the contrary, if you go to other temples, they don't keep it clean. They don't. The problem is because they don't believe that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead sitting, standing. Even if it is Ram temple or Radha Krishna temple or Hanuman temple, Ganesh temple, any temple, idea it should be cleansed properly. The deity should be dressed nicely. In other temples when we go, they hardly change the dress of the deity, hardly ever. Maybe if it is Radha Krishna temple, once in Janmashtami they change. And forget about changing the jewelry or the garland they put on, plastic garland, and it's gathering dust over all these months, but they still, things go on in the name of worship. So that's not proper service. So cleanliness is very important. That's why the Yajna arena was, first of all, it was cleansed because the Vishnu Yajna was supposed to happen there. The yajna arena was desecrated by the presence of Lord Shiva's followers, headed by Virabhadra, and therefore the entire arena had to be sanctified. Although Lord Shiva was present and he is all auspicious, it was still necessary to sanctify the place because his followers had broken into the arena and committed so many obnoxious acts. Obnoxious acts because they passed stool and urine all over and into the yajna, fire also, to put out the fire. So that everything had to be cleansed. That sanctification was possible only by chanting the holy name of Vishnu, Trikapal, which can sanctify the three worlds. In other words, it is admitted herein that the followers of Lord Shiva are generally unclean. They're not even very hygienic. They do not take baths regularly. They wear long hair and they smoke ganja. Persons of such irregular habits are counted amongst the ghosts. Since they were present in the sacrificial arena, the atmosphere became polluted, and it had to be sanctified by Trikapal oblations, which indicated the invocation of Vishnu's favor. So it was cleansed both physically and by chanting the mantras of Lord Vishnu's pleasure, or Vishnu's name. And that's how the whole arena was sanctified. So in today's day and age, when corona threat is all over the world, so corona virus, obviously it's not a very good virus. I don't know if there are any good viruses, but this is a disease creating virus or spreading virus. So the same point can be applied here. If the place and if the person is sanctified properly by chanting of the holy names, chances are the virus will not act, but there are still so many devotees. If you can talk about His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj suffering from this virus. So still problems can happen, but we have to try to keep everything very clean on every level, gross level, mental level, emotional level, ethereal level, spiritual level. So if we try to keep everything clean, then these entities cannot enter over there. Ardha yunatha vishala yajmano vishampate diya vishuddhya dadhyo tatha pradhur bhudhari. The great sage Maitreya said to Vidura, "My dear Vidura, as soon as King Daksha offered the clarified butter with the Ayurveda mantras in sanctified meditation, Lord Vishnu appeared there in his original form as Narayan. Lord Vishnu is all-pervading. Any devotee who in sanctified meditation, following the regulative principles, chants the required mantras in service and in a devotional mood, can see Vishnu. It is said in the Brahma Samhita that a devotee whose eyes are anointed with the ointment of love of Godhead can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead always within his heart. Lord Shyamsundar is so kind to his devotees. So this is a way to see Lord Vishnu within the heart or even outside also. Eyes have to be anointed with the ointment of love of Godhead. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. So how to develop that love of God is a process given by following the devotion service, rules and regulations. And that's what Prabhupada says, following the regulative principles, chants of the required mantras in service, in a devotional mood can see Vishnu. So this is what we see from the shloka. King Daksha, as soon as King Daksha offered the clarified butter, Lord Vishnu appeared there. So Daksha First of all, he is not an ordinary person, and now after his punishment and after he begged for forgiveness from Lord Shiva, he was even more purified. He became more powerful. Powerful in the sense he was purified now. And Lord Vishnu immediately appeared. It's not mentioned in this previous yajna if Lord Vishnu appeared when Shivji left. And when he offered performed the sacrifice again when Sati left her body, it's not that that there it was mentioned Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu did not come to the sacrifice because they knew what is going to happen. But now everything is cleared and he had offered his respects to Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu was very pleased and he appeared as soon as King Daksha offered the sacrifice, offered the ghee in the yajna. Tada swaprabhyate sham deodyantya disho dasha mushnas tej upanitas tarchanin stotravat nina. Lord Narayan was seated on the shoulder of Stotra or Garuda, who had big wings. As soon as the Lord appeared, all directions were illuminated, diminishing the luster of Brahma and the others present. A description of Narayan is given in the two shlokas following. Shyamo hiranya rashano arkat kirita jushto Neelalaka Brahmar Mandita Kundalasya Shankhabja Chakra Sharchapa Gadasi Charma Vyagrara Hiranya Maya Bhujaru Karnikara. His complexion was blackish, his garment yellow like gold, and his helmet as dazzling as the sun. His hair was bluish, the color of black breeze, and his face was decorated with earrings. His 8 hands held a conch. Okay, so he appeared with 8 hands. Held a conchal, wheel, club, lotus flower, and arrow, bow, shield, and sword. And they were decorated with golden ornaments such as bangles and bracelets. His whole body resembled a blossoming tree, beautifully decorated with various kinds of flowers. The face of Lord Vishnu is described in this verse appears like a lotus flower with bees humming over it. All of the ornaments on the body of Lord Vishnu resemble molten gold of the reddish gold color of the morning sunrise. The Lord appears just as the morning sun rises to protect the whole universal creation. His arms display different weapons and his 8 hands are compared to the 8 petals of a lotus flower. All the weapons mentioned are for the protection of his devotees. Generally in 4 hands of Vishnu there are wheel, club, conchal and lotus flower. These 4 symbols are seen in the 4 hands of Vishnu in different arrangements. The club and the wheel are the Lord's symbol of punishment for the demons and miscreants. And the lotus flower and conchal are used to bless the devotees. There are always 2 classes of men, the devotees and the demons, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is always ready for the protection of the devotees and annihilation of the demons. There are demons and devotees in this material world, but in the spiritual world there is no such distinction. In other words, Lord Vishnu is the proprietor of both the material and spiritual worlds. In the material world, almost everyone is of demoniac nature, but there are also devotees who appear to be in the material world, although they are always situated in the spiritual world. A devotee's position is always transcendental and is always protected by Lord Vishnu. Okay, Srila Prabhupada didn't clarify why he appeared with 8 hands. And he had arrow, bow, shield, and sword. So maybe he had to protect more devotees. And that's why he was, or punish more demons. That's why he was carrying 4 more weapons. But one thing Prabhupada says, a devotee's position is always transcendental. It is always protected by Lord Vishnu. So whether he displays 8 hands or 4 hands or 2 hands or just a Sudarshan Chakra Or he can display millions of hands if he wants to, like in his Virat Rupa, to protect his devotee. So that is a special position of a devotee. Text 21. Vakshasya adhishrita vadhurva na malya udara hasavalok kalya ramyansha vishwam parshva brahmad Vyajan Chamra Rajahansa Shweta Tapatra Shashino Aparirajamana. Lord Vishnu looked extraordinarily beautiful because the goddess of fortune and the garland was situated on his chest. His face was beautifully decorated with a smiling attitude which can captivate the entire world, especially the devotees. Fans of white hair appeared on both sides of the Lord like white swans, and the white canopy overhead looked like the moon. The smiling face of Lord Vishnu is pleasing to the whole world. Not only devotees, but even non-devotees are attracted by such a smile. This verse nicely describes how the sun, moon, 8-petaled lotus flower, and humming black bees were represented by the fans of hair, the overhead canopy, the moving earrings on both sides of his face, and his blackish hair, all together accompanied by the conch shell, wheel, club, lotus flower, bow, and arrow, shield, and sword in his hands. These presented a grand and beautiful audience for Lord Vishnu, which captivated all the demigods there, including Daksha and Lord Brahma. So previous sacrifice, when Daksha appeared in that arena, everybody stood up because Daksha was very effulgent, he looked so bright. And now Lord Vishnu has appeared, and see the beauty of Lord Vishnu and the brightness that he's displaying. And it has captivated all the demigods, including Daksha and Lord Brahma. So today you see in the background of mine, this is Mahalakshmi from Lord Jagannath Temple. So yesterday there was a special ceremony with the Rath Yatra. It's called Hera Panchami. So it's the 5th day of the Rath Yatra. And what had happened was Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra, when they go to Gundicha temple on the Rath Yatra for Rath Yatra, Jagannath ji leaves by telling Lakshmi ji that I'll be back, we'll be back in 3 days. Now it's the 5th day and they haven't returned. So Lakshmi ji, along with her servants, she goes to the Gundicha temple from main temple. And of course, the Utsamurti goes, not the big deity. And the followers or servants of Lakshmi ji, they fight with the servants of Jagannath ji over there. How come you are staying here and you haven't come back? You told that you'll be back in 3 days. And I mean, it's a mock fight, but the fight happens. And if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting there and he was watching the whole fight. He was really enjoying, and they really use abusive language, Lakshmi ji's associates. And then they break up little part of the chariot. So Lakshmi ji is very angry. How come they, just like any lady would get angry if her husband leaves and doesn't come back after as he promised. So then the associates and pandas, they say, okay, Lakshmi ji, he will come back, just give 2 or 3 more days and we'll come back. So I decided to put Mahalakshmi ji's picture in the background today to get her darshan. So even Lord Vishnu, Jagannath ji, he cannot run away for too long. Although he spent 15 days with Lakshmi ji in seclusion after Snan Yatra till the Rath Yatra. So to give her the time, because otherwise rest of the year, Jagannath ji is busy with his devotees. He's always busy giving them darshan or eating, doing other pastimes. So 15 days he gives full time to Lakshmi ji. But now she gets angry that how come these 3 brothers and sisters. They just left and they didn't come back as promised. And that is the reason when she comes back and she's still angry, and when Lord Jagannath comes back, so they allow Balramji and Subhadra to go in the gate, but Jagannathji still had to wait outside. And more pastimes, more loving pastimes happen. So this whole scenario is very beautiful, very, very enchanting. And another thing I was told, you all must have seen the footage of Rath Yatra. If we watch the previous year Rath Yatra and this year, because of this corona, only few selected pandas were allowed to pull the chariot, and the chariot is still the same, still heavy chariot. Okay, not many pandas were there on the chariot this year because of social distancing standards, but still the chariot is very heavy. And I was told by Rashmi that Ganesh Baba was pulling the chariot. And he said he was not pulling, he was just holding onto the rope, and chariot was moving on its own. And everybody had the same experience. Nobody was pulling. So this is the mercy of Lord Jagannath. He shows who's the boss. Actually. Even when we pull the chariot in the regular Rath Yatra, thousands of people are jumping or hanging on to the ropes to pull, but nobody pulls actually. There is no room to pull. Where is the room to pull? How can we pull? So Lord Jagannath shows. He moves on his own. He just lets us do some, or he lets us think that we are doing some service. That's all. With just that mood of say, yes, Jagannathji, I want to do some service. That he gets pleased. That's it. The rest he does everything on its own. Here, Lord Vishnu is appearing with 8 hands to protect, to kill the demons and to protect his devotees. What does he need? All he needs is our surrender, our mood. Not even full surrender, even that is not possible now. Just a little mood. Yes, Jagannathji, I want to serve you. Yes, Radha Krishna, I want to serve you. That's all. So that's all if we can develop properly. And that will definitely please the Lord. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hari Bol, Jai Jagannath.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please tell us about the deities in the background. Like they are very pleasing.
I just did. This is Mahalakshmi from Lord Jagannath Temple.
Okay. Hari Bol.
Haribol.
Please post this, Prabhuji, after the class.
Okay, okay.
And request you to please, from this year, it is already gone, but during Jagannath Rath Yatra, if you can, at least at the end of the class, if you can narrate Jagannath pastime or the events related to it. Because yesterday I was searching, I recalled your last year's class, and I was searching something in the net, but I didn't get anything, Prabhuji. So I was just
Really? It should be there.
What is today, like every day I was searching what is the event today, what is the event today, so no updates. 6 days back, 5 days back, all such updates were there on YouTube or anywhere.
Okay, okay, I'll try to say something every day.
Haribol, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mantha. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare